Well then folks, here we are, back out in the woods again. And I'm pretty excited to be out in the woods today because this is a brand new woodland permission that I've got. So I'm not too far from home. I haven't had to travel all the way to Scotland. And I'm not looking over my shoulder for angry landowners coming over the hill to tell me off and tell me that I shouldn't be here. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to be out at the minute. I'm back out on my trusty old LK35. I'm in the Snugpack Stratosphere bivvy, and I'm in this beautiful patch of sort of ancient and new woodland. So it is getting on for 2:30 now. It is the last few days of December, so I've only got about 2 hours left of daylight, and I've got quite a lot to do. Plan is classic overnight camping trip, a little bit of cooking, spending some time by the campfire, pondering the year just gone before and looking ahead to the year ahead to see what is going to go on. So I've got quite a lot to do. So my main jobs are to collect some firewood to begin with, to get a fire going and get enough for me to be sort of sorted for the night, clear the camp area a little bit so I'm not tripping over stuff in the dark. But there's also a lot of pine boughs down, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to collect a load of them and put them underneath my bivvy, simply because I'm on quite a slope. So I'm going to pack one side of it to kind of hopefully try and level it out a little bit. Not something I've done before, just an idea I had, but pretty much everywhere's on a slope here. So we'll see how we get on. Right, let's go. This is why there's so many pine boughs that are available. This is the remnants of Storm Arwen. It's massive tree root that's come down. They're absolutely gigantic, aren't they? But as a result, plenty of pine boughs for me to use. Ooh, massive, absolutely massive. So to do it, the idea is if I shove a bunch of these on the one side, it'll kind of level the bed out slightly for me. And also, the ground's pretty wet, so it just gives me, affords me just a little bit of extra insulation. I do have a thermarest, but anything that's going to stop me rolling down this hill is a bonus. So I shouldn't feel any lumps and bumps through the thermarest anyway. It's just kind of building up one side so that I'm not falling down all night. I have slept on pine boughs before, they're pretty comfortable. And it makes everything smell nice. Ah, jelly ear fungus. Surprisingly good eating actually. A lot of people don't like them, but I really like it. Growing on elder, nice and wet, 100% jelly ear fungus, and it's a heck of a crop as well. I have got a good recipe for this stuff coming up, but sadly not today. I've not got the right ingredients. But it is very good eating. We'll come back to that another day. Look at that, nature's giving me a little sawhorse. Just using this old bit of root bowl here to lock the logs in place as I saw them. It's not the best in the world, but it'll do the job. See how it gets on. Easy. There we go in there. Not the tidiest log store, but volume is the key. It's going to be a long, dark night. So I'm sure you can tell everything is super saturated and time is very much of the essence. So left over from the burn test I did a few weeks ago, I've got a waxed cotton ball and I've got a little bit of that waxed jute twine. So I'm going to use the jute twine to get things going because there is a bit of a breeze and my lighter isn't very good and I haven't got time to be messing about with the ferro rod. So let's see how quickly I can get the fire going with this. time's getting on, it is getting a little bit darker than it certainly looks on the camera anyway, so it's time to get some food on. So today I am actually making a recipe that has come from Ray Mears's, not Wild Food, Wilderness Chef I think it's called. And today I'm going to make some fish cakes. So I've already reconstituted a little bit of this cheddar cheese mashed potato. Original recipe does say to use just plain mash, but I've added some cheese in for some extra flavour. It may or may not work. And to go along with that, I've got some tinned pink salmon, which, if you'll just take a little look at that, you can see was a real pain to get into. So the camera is going to struggle a little bit with focusing at this time. But I'm just going to use half of this tin of salmon. I'm going to mush it up. Oh, it's like the stuff I give to my cats. And I'm going to pop that into the mash. So I've got about 50 grams of mash there. So this should, according to the recipe, if I've remembered it correctly, should give me about 4 fish cakes. Okay, so I only need half of that. And now I'm going to add... got here, I've got some freshly ground black pepper. Oh, that smells amazing, actually, that pepper in that little Tupperware. I've got some lovely Maldon sea salt. Only needs a little bit of that. This stuff's gorgeous. I prefer it much more to like sort of Himalayan salt. That Maldon sea salt is absolutely incredible. And we've got, whoops, some mixed dried herbs. Okay, there we go. So I think this mixture might be a little bit dry, so I may actually need to add a touch more water to it. But the idea is we just mix all of that up. Oh yeah, it's binding together lovely. Really mixing it all up, make sure that fish and the mash really gets together. You can see if I put it up against the side there, it really kind of binds and sticks together. So that is perfect. So that's kind of what we're after. And then once they're in the balls, I'm just going to flatten each one out into a little cake. Not too thick, not too thin. I'll dust these with a tiny bit of flour. I've done. Probably could have done with a little bit more water, but they'll do. Yeah, so I'll dust these with a little bit of flour and then fry them up. It's been really nice just sitting here chilling out. I've done nothing. I've just sat here and enjoyed being in the woods and being in my own thoughts and just sitting by the fire and thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow. Such a nice feeling to just know that I'm not going to be in trouble for being here, you know? Really nice. Really gutted I didn't get to film more of cooking dinner earlier, but it's just the way it goes. And it's weirdly warm. I'm in my Fjallraven granite shirt and a t-shirt underneath it, and it's weirdly warm. Like, I'm actually too hot next to the fire. So I've been like getting up and going for a few walks around, but even then, like, it's really, really warm. I think the only thing that got cold really was my ears. But it feels more like spring than winter. Good morning. Just getting my boots on. Oh man, long sleep. So ended up going to bed about 9 o'clock because it was dark and it was nice and warm, and I had a lot of slow gym, so I went to bed at about 9 o'clock. About 2 o'clock in the morning, it started to rain, and kind of like a mini storm blew in. Absolutely chucked it down, and the wind picked up, but slept nicely. I actually woke up for about an hour. I even got up and went for a little bit of a walk around in that rain, because it was like some of that rain that was, when you're under the tarp, sounds really, really strong. But actually when you get out in it isn't too bad. And now it's 9 o'clock and I've just woken up, so a good long sleep. So as always, first task, get a fire going, ready to cook some breakfast and have some coffee as well. Right, boots are on. Where's my hat? My hat's back here. Oh, the hat got wet last night. What a shame. I'll hang that up to dry. Should dry in no time. Let's go and get some firewood. Very wet. It's very, very wet. It put down a lot of rain. A lot of rain last night. It's kind of threatening to put a bit more down as well. Hopefully it won't. Not at least until I've got my fire going. Right, I just need some thin sticks and we're good to go. Alright, we're going to do this with a cotton pad again because I want my coffee quickly. Everything's still pretty wet. And to be honest, I just can't be bothered messing around with a ferro rod and stuff. I know I can do it, you know you can do it. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I'm using a cotton pad. Alright, water's on for the coffee. It's going a lot better than it looks on the camera, to be fair. I do prefer these longer fires because they just sustain themselves for longer, but you don't get the big flames from them. But what's really nice is I can just stick the pot straight on the top and it'll burn for quite a while like that. Easily long enough for me to boil a small amount of water for a cup of coffee. The coffee that I've got, thanks to my top subscriber, is a nice bag of faff coffee. This isn't a paid placement or anything like that. These were a gift for Christmas, but honestly, I really cannot shout high enough about these coffee bags. They are amazing coffee. Absolutely brilliant. I probably didn't need to bring the whole bag. I don't know, I'm not entirely sure why I brought the entire bag for like using one of them, but there we go. Still, this looks cool, doesn't it? Faff coffee. That looks like proper professional, like Instagram marketing. Buy Faff coffee. Now, realised that like a cretin, I had a brew in my van yesterday before coming to the woods, and I've left my cup in there. So, like an absolute heathen, I'm having to make my coffee in my bowl. There's only one other person I know that does this. That man is Rob. So Rob, if you're watching, this brew is for you. You dirty, bowl drinking weirdo. Tell you what though, that's a hefty brew. That is a hefty brew. Right on, put the coffee bags away, wait for that to brew itself. There it is, brewing away. Gigantic bowl of coffee. I'm sitting back under here because it is threatening to rain again a little bit. And it's dry on bum with the bivvy. Right, let's see how this bowl of coffee is, Rob. It's just not the same as in a cup. But I needed that. Oh, my body's been screaming out for that. Screaming out for that caffeine. A lantern that I was using yesterday, I know I'll get questions about it. It's one of these Stonebridge lanterns. I actually won this in a raffle quite a few years ago, and I blooming love the thing. It's huge when it's like packed like this. Ooh, had something in it. But the whole thing folds down. I'll show you shortly how it folds down. But I believe that they're not cheap. It was patented on May the 24th, 1904. It's called a Stonebridge lantern, and it is what was used in the trenches, I think. And it's really nice because you can hang it, but it's got a flat bottom on it as well, so you can stand it up, and it just throws out just a lovely, lovely amount of light. And it's got that old worldy, rusticy bushcraft feel to it, hasn't it? I really like the thing. I almost sold it. Everyone was, when I won it, people were like, oh, you can sell that for like £200. I was like, wow, £200, that's pretty good. And then I kept hold of it, and it's great. It's just a little bit heavy, but for a trip out like this, it's ideal. But I do want to get myself this sort of more modern UCO candle lantern version. And the candle that I put in it burnt for like 6 hours last night, and I still have half of it left. So yeah, this is really, really nice, and I just feel like an old kind of, I don't know, like an old warden walking about the woods with this thing. Right, I need some more caffeine. And it's threatening to rain, but there's clear skies over there. I hope the microphone isn't picking up that road noise too much. It was weirdly comforting, that road noise last night though, in an unfamiliar wood. And the wind picked up quite severely last night as well, and I was a bit, you know, there's still a lot of hanging branches and stuff in all of these trees, and I did check above me, but because of that storm Arwen, which was a really bad one, there's just stuff down everywhere, and that's partly what's made the fire so difficult, because it's quite difficult to distinguish between what's freshly down and green and what is like seasoned and dry. But we got there in the end. It just takes a little bit more effort. But yeah, that road noise was weirdly comforting last night. Just a little bit of sort of white noise in the background, which I usually can't stand. But in that wind last night, I was a little bit like twitchy. Oh, the sun's just about to come out. Awesome. I really love having this lid for this Pathfinder thing, because it just means you can kind of cook things just a little bit more evenly, because it keeps the heat in and it gets really hot really quickly, and it is slightly recessed, so you could even put coals on this and sort of almost bake in it, but it's probably a little bit narrow for baking a lot of things, but you could easily bake a cake in there, I think. That's almost done. It's better to cook this style of pancake slightly slower, I think, as well. Although, when it's breakfast, you just kind of want to eat it, don't you? I'm going to take what many would consider to be an unnecessary risk here. I'm going to try and flip the pancake. Make sure the handle's properly locked before I do this. Oh, yes, look at that. I lost a couple of cranberries there. But just look at that. Isn't that incredible? I'm so excited to eat this. Alright folks, so I'm pretty much packed away now. It's just the tarp to go down, so I'm going to say bye under the tarp so the camera doesn't get soaked, and then yeah, check in next week to see where we're up to. So yeah, it was just a little overnighter tonight, getting used to a new permission that I'm super excited to have. So yeah, if you stuck with me to the end, thank you all for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves, enjoy the outdoors, and bye for now.